All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Reference Solutions Market Research. My name is Caitlin Tips, and I am a public services librarian with Plano Public Library, and I will be presenting today's program. I am assisted by Mackenzie, who will be monitoring the chat for any questions. Please say hi.
Hi.
Excellent. Before we begin, I need to let you know about some ground rules that we've set up for today's program. You will be muted during this class, and we have your video blocked. You will only see the instructor's screen. At the top of your screen, you can find an exit full screen option if you need to get to other things on your computer or device. You are welcome to ask questions or request that the instructor repeat information at any time during today's program. You should see an icon at the bottom of your screen that says chat. Click on that to open the chat window. Chat is set to be seen by library staff only. If you prefer, you may also use the Q&A feature located at the bottom of your screen to ask questions. Please note that any inappropriate questions or comments will cause your immediate removal from today's class. For all questions, we may answer you directly in the chat or Q&A box. Hold the question until a break or the end of class, or ask the question at the time if it is pressing. On our website, additional resources such as databases that supplement today's program will we will be using the instructor's screen to demonstrate and may share additional resources in chat as well. A recording of today's program will be available in a few days. So if you would like to rewatch today's program and then practice with the recording later, that is an option. So with all of that out of the way, let's get started. First and foremost, we do have a disclaimer. I do want to share and make clear that I am not a business expert. I am a librarian. The purpose of today's program is to provide a tutorial for how to utilize the Reference Solutions database for market research and competitive analysis for businesses. This class will not guarantee that you will be an expert at market research afterwards. The goal is that you are more informed and have more tools in your arsenal to continue in your entrepreneurial journey. However, for more business expertise, we do recommend connecting with our partners, Dallas SCORE, which stands for Service Corps of Retired Executives, who provide free mentorship opportunities for those interested or already in the process of starting their own business. They are available on a weekly basis for appointments at Schimmelpfennig Library, or you can access more information from our website, planolibrary.org, or the Dallas SCORE website. Okay. This is today's program overview. We will be covering an in-depth look into the Reference Solutions database with market research in mind. To do this, we will cover the basics of market research and competitive analysis, tools to support that research, and we'll look at how to apply those needs to using the Reference Solutions database. As a reminder, if there are any questions at any time, please use the chat or Q&A feature. We will attempt to answer them as we go along, but we'll also keep time at the end. Okay. So first, what is Reference Solutions? Reference Solutions, a service of Data Axle, was created in 1992 and originally called Reference USA. It is a database that provides information to help you start a business, conduct market research, find marketing prospects, and more. It includes the following sub-databases for U.S. businesses, U.S. new businesses, U.S. historical businesses, U.S. consumers, lifestyles, and automobiles, U.S. new movers, and homeowners. Now, how does all of this help with market research? The benefits of this database are that it allows entrepreneurs the capability to look up potential industry competitors, a competitive analysis, to determine their target market, such as determining consumer interest and more. Reference Solutions allows for advanced search by industry codes, geographical location, and we'll pull up both the verified and unverified records of business management, including but not limited to names, company profit, payroll, and more. We will explore more of these features in just a few minutes. Next, what is market research? So market research is the process of gathering information about a consumer's needs and preferences to determine the need for a product or service. Accurate market research is essential for businesses of all sizes to better understand their marketplace, their customers, and even their competition. Now, there are two types of market research. There are more, but we're going to focus on these two. Primary market research includes two types of information: specific and exploratory. Specific research is the precise information into issues or opportunities that have already been deemed important to your business. And exploratory is an open-ended approach to information gathering when there's little information about a problem or question to garner more in-depth responses. So when you're looking at your market research, it's important to think about your end goal for the type of research that you want to accomplish. Methods of primary market research include surveys, direct mail, interviews, and focus groups. Now, secondary market research is utilizing industry data that has already been organized, such as that in created databases, lists, etc. This can include consumer demographics, such as average salaries, consumer interest, spending patterns, nationalities, gender, household sizes, and more. This will be the type of market research we focus on today using reference solutions. Getting started with market research can be overwhelming when you're either trying to start up a business or expand your current business strategy. These are some common questions to help you get started thinking about the kind of information that will benefit your business. So think about, what is the demand? What demand is there for the product or service your business is supporting? Are there a lot of consumers with that interest? Is there a current or similar company that is doing a great amount of business already to demonstrate that demand? What is your market size? What is the economic ecosystem like in your area? Do you have a high income or a good employment rate? What are factors like that that would contribute to your marketplace? Where's your location in relation to customers? Is your brick and mortar store in a central location? Is it accessible? How are you pricing your product or service? And who is your competition? Being aware of these information will really help you fine tune and get some good information from market research. Before we jump into competitive analysis, are there any questions?
None so far in the chat.
Excellent. Please feel free to post any questions in the chat or Q&A at any time. I'm happy to either repeat or answer as best I can anything in further detail. Okay, so what is competitive analysis? A competitive analysis is a process of identifying competing businesses in your area or industry and researching their strategies of appealing to potential customers. We touched on this on the previous slide, focusing on a competitive analysis beyond that initial question, though, allows businesses to dive deeper into the reality of their economic landscape. So one tool to support a competitive analysis is a SWOT analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Identifying the strengths of your business or your potential operation includes characteristics of your business which give it advantages over its competitors. And looking at your weaknesses also allows you to identify your characteristics, make it disadvantaged, which may be disadvantaged in relation to competitors. However, this also allows you to look at your opportunities, which are elements in a company's external environment that allow it to formulate and implement strategies to increase your profitability, as well as to understand your threats, which are again those elements in the external environment that could endanger the integrity or profitability of your business. Looking at all of that together allows you to really have a holistic view of what's kind of going on for your business. Now, some other tools that I want to share that could support your market research goals are Google Trends and the US Census Business Builder. Google Trends is a free analytical tool of Google that highlights and tracks trending search queries across regions and languages used online. It tracks search term with comparison options, interest over time, compared breakdown by subregion, related queries, top terms, and rising terms. But why is this useful for market research? This tool helps entrepreneurs locate popular industry topics and determine your consumer interest. If a search query is trending, that indicates a higher amount of interest in a type or category of product or service that a business could attempt to cater to. The other option, the US Census Business Builder, provides selected demographic and economic data directly from the Census Bureau that is tailored to specific types of users, in this case, businesses. It's another free tool that assists businesses in understanding their marketplace. It allows for the narrowing of search results for demographic, socioeconomic, and housing data. It also pulls business data directly from county business patterns, non-employer statistics, economic census, and survey of business owners. It tracks imports and exports, building permits, consumer spending data, workforce data, and employment and related data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I would recommend taking a look at this tool. It's pretty cool, and while a bit complex at first, it has a lot of material to help users get the most out of it. So if you're in the early stages of your business and want to just look at the economic landscape of your area, I highly recommend taking a look at this tool just to survey that information. All right. So with all of that information kind of shared and talked about, let's jump into reference solutions. And I think I actually missed a slide somewhere. Real quick, I just want to share when you begin the process of starting up or growing a business, the first thing entrepreneurs hear is start with market research. But why is that data important to your business? What can it be used for? So market research has plenty of applications, such as you can use this information for your business plans, you can calculate your startup costs, you can use it to make marketing plans, determine your business location, or any sort of business management strategies you may want to add to or grow. And while we aren't necessarily focusing on those applications today, much of the data we will be researching can be used for these applications. For more information on the importance of these, you can try coming to our monthly twos, Team Up for Entrepreneurship Success Group, or reach out to Dallas Score. All right, so now we're going to jump into actually using reference solutions. So bear with me one moment while I switch screens. Okay, so how do we access reference solutions? It's going to be from our library homepage. So if you hover over library, we're going to go to research and learn under learn. And from this page, you can either download all of our databases in this PDF, or you can select business. And once you're on this page, we're going to scroll down. It's alphabetical until we get to reference solutions. Now, once you're here, I do want to share that if you need if you forget what we've covered today, you can actually access here a PDF that is a guide to using reference solutions. So this covers the access as well as how to use it based on the database search tools, as well as, I can scroll up, setting up a personal account. Just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. You can also pick up that handout at any of our 5 Plano Public Library locations. There's also a video tutorial that you can watch. That's just an overview as well as another introduction. But to access this database, we are going to click Access Now, and that's going to take us directly to the database. Real quick, are there any questions?
None in the chat so far.
Okie doke. Okay. So this is reference solutions. And today we are going to explore 2 primary databases within this software. So we are going to focus primarily on the US businesses and the US consumers, lifestyles, and automobiles databases. So let's begin with US businesses. Now, this is a great database containing close to 91 million business records and 4.1 million closed business records for users to pull from. Of these records, at least 18 million are verified and 73 million are unverified. Reference Solutions helpfully marks which of those records fall into what category with a green or gray V symbol on the record. Green means a verified record, and gray means it's an unverified record. And I'll show that off when we get into a few different search queries. Now, if we select this.
Did have a quick question in the chat,
Yeah,
Caitlin.
for sure.
So it was asked, are the slides going to be shared later with the attendees?
I am happy to share them out. I'll have my email on the screen at the very end. So you can feel free to email me asking for the slides, or Mackenzie, if you like, you can drop that in the chat as well for them.
All right, will do.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So when you get into the database, this will be true for any of the other database and reference solutions. You have 2 options. You have the option to do a quick search and an advanced search. The basic selection criteria includes company name, executive title, business type, sales volume, employee size, year established, and has even more options. However, if you are beginning and you don't have that information, that's okay. That's why they have the search options set up like this. So just wanted to flip between the 2 options, these 2 tabs at the top. So this is what advanced search looks like. We're going to play more with this in just a second, but we're going to start with the quick search. I did want to point out that those verified and unverified, those icons are here under record type. So there's that green V and the gray U, and it even has a black C for closed. Okay, so we're going to hop back over to quick search. And this is really great when you're looking up a specific business entity. If you know the name of a business you would be in competition with and want to research their business data, then this is the best method for looking that information up. All right. So we're going to work through a few scenarios um, for potentially using this database. So the first one that I have come up with is we have an entrepreneur who is going to open a bakery in the DFW area, and they know that one of their biggest competitors will be Pie Emporium. So that's a company name. That's something we know in the area. So if we type Pie Emporium and we don't have any of the other information, if we're looking for specifically the location in Dallas or McKinney, we could input that information here. So let's just say that we wanted to pull up only the McKinney one. We'll select view results. And we can see, excellent, we have a result. All right, so this is their company page. It means that we managed to type it in correctly, which if you're anything like me, does not always happen. Sometimes I've got fat fingers and I don't spell things correctly. So we're going to click on this record. It's going to load, and now we can see that full page. On this page, there are a few things that I want to point out. It has that green V at the top that I pointed out earlier for a verified record. Now, Reference Solutions does actually call all of these businesses to verify their information, which is pretty cool. They have a rotating schedule to call and reach out to businesses to verify that information. I believe they do so either on a weekly or monthly schedule. And that's for all of their databases in their record. Now, each of these company pages is broken up into sections. On the left-hand side here, you can see quick links, and this kind of acts like a table of contents. Like if you're in a Wikipedia page, this is a very similar system to that. And it allows you to jump to specific information just to make that navigation easier. So we start with really just general location information. It shows any addresses, phone numbers here at the top. And as we move down, it'll have any job listings that are available at that location. Continuing down, you've got that industry profile information, which includes their SIC, Standard Industrial Code, their NAICS, North American Industry Classification System Code, which is really great information if you are looking to have a similar type of business like a pie bakery, but hadn't looked up those codes yet. As a special note, SIC and NAICS codes are really useful for businesses for tax reporting, US Census reporting, Social Security reporting, etc. So if you don't have that information yet, this is a great way to figure out where does your business fall in terms of those codes. You can also go directly to the government pages for those codes and input your search for the industry, and it will give you a list of different codes that your business may fall under. Okay. However, these next sections, the business profile, the photo map and directions, looks like we actually have a map. That's cool. Our demographics and our business expenditures, management directory, company news, stock data. They're all really, really useful for startups. I do want to note that these sections will look different depending on the company page. So some of these will have more information, some of them will have less information. So I just want to make that clear at the start. So scrolling back up to business demographics, This section provides the number of employee data, your sales volume, square footage of the business space, etc. The square footage is an interesting figure to note should you be considering a brick and mortar location, as it gives insight into the needed space to operate a type of business. Now, you can also see here in this section, this last updated on box. So this record was updated as of September 2023. It's useful to know when this information was last checked to determine if the information is current or out of date for comparison. It's December now. September was a few months ago. So this is still relatively recent, but if anything can change in a month or a week with businesses, so it's always good to be aware of when information was last checked. Okay, going down to our business expenditures. So this section does always have this message here at the top that these are an estimated annual expense. And this section may have more or less information than what is currently here. Again, this record contains a variety of estimated yearly cost, which is really useful for your financial planning. For instance, if you're going to be hiring employees, having an estimate for the cost of your payroll and benefits could be really beneficial to your business management planning. Or if you're looking to rent or lease a location, having an estimate the cost for a certain area is also a good thing to note. Now, the rest of these numbers here are, again, estimates. But if you hadn't considered some of these factors, definitely a good thing to make note of and build into your business planning. Now, business size history. This section here, it graphs the details of sales volume at the company location over a period of time, as well as your employee size. These two graphs together help paint a picture of the number of staff to keep on hand to support a consistent amount of revenue stream. However, please keep in mind that some of these numbers are either estimates or direct reports from census information. So you can see here for the Pie Emporium, their numbers haven't really changed that much since this location opened in 2014 and 2015, I believe. So you can see here employee size, they've consistently had about 10 employees each year. And as such, their revenue stream has evidently remained about the same, or they've reported it to be about the same. So there is a correlation between the two. Okay. And continuing down on this page, you can see business history as far as when did they open and are they still open and is it under the same management? Now, some larger corporations will actually have a corporate tree that you can access here when you look at executive names. Now, for a smaller operation like this, you may not have all that information, but it will at least let you know who the owner is, if that information's available. And continuing down, UCC filings and nearby businesses, competitors report. So I would be less concerned with UCC filings. Nearby businesses, expanding that. This will just let you know what's in the area. And none of this has any correlation to other bakeries. So if you're just trying to get a feel for an area, this is useful information. But the competitors report is nice because Reference Solutions will try and help you do some of the work that you're doing with market research here for you. So they've pulled, I believe this is a 200 miles area. for different pie shops. Now, what I will say with this nearby business report is it's not going to pull everything local. So just because it has this information here available does not mean that this is the only competition in an area. But it's a great place to start if you were still researching different shops or if you were curious about who else might be in the area. So, before we're not quite done with this page, there is a few more options I want to point out, which are these three buttons here at the bottom. So you have here an option to download. So if we select download, this actually allows you to select your file format for either a CSV file, comma delimited, or a Excel file or tab delimited. I would say the comma delimited CSV or Excel file will probably your best bet here. The next step with downloading data is you can have a summary, which just includes the date, the name, address, phone number, and 17 additional data fields. Or you can also download all the data. Or you can be custom and really say, I only want X, Y, and Z information. So what it does is it has a default option here for the top 10 information, but then you can scroll down and you can add in a slew of other options. This is the all tab. You can narrow it down further by the section, but in general, to make it easy on yourself, I would just do the detailed if you're looking for a specific company record. Once you download, it'll just download directly to your computer from the browser, or you can also email that record selection to yourself. Okay, so that is the download option. If we go back, I want to point out this data feedback button here. Oh, and you can print the same information. Printing is going to be the same detail level selection, and it will allow you to preview how that looks. But data feedback here, feedback sharing is available on any page and reference solutions that allows you, the user, to help reference solution not spread any misinformation in case the information is out of date, or you know that a business has closed, or you know a business may have unverified and you want to verify information. Whatever the reason may be, this is what that button is available for. So if you select it and you've come across information on a company page where you know the information is incorrect, this is how you can share that with the company to fix that. So what they do is they have you go through all the information here, and they also have you add your contact information here so they can respond and let you know, hey, we actually have verified your information that you shared and we've updated the record. Typically, they do that in about a week or two. So they're pretty on top of it. I've actually done data feedback on a few records for either companies I know that have closed and they're no longer, they should not be green verified. And I've been pleased with how quickly they get to checking those records. So before we move on to using the advanced search, are there any questions about the company page or navigation on this page?
No questions so far.
Okie doke. Thank you so much. Feel free to ask anything anytime. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do a new search, and we're going to switch to the advanced search tab. And in this scenario, we're going to stick with a pie bakery theme. But the difference is that we are going to research our competition in this area because we're trying to figure out the best location for our bakery. So in this advanced search area, we're going to, at the top of the page, I just want to highlight a few things here first before we get into filtering down our results a little bit more. So as I pointed out before, we've got a lot of filtered options over here on the left. So you can filter down by company name, if you have any executive information, business type. So if we know that industry code information here, we can select that here to narrow it down. You can narrow down by geography, very specific geography, phone information, the business size for comparison. For instance, if you're opening a local pie shop, then you don't necessarily want to consider that your competition is a huge corporate manufacturer of pie. They may not have the same audience as you do in terms of distribution. Your ownership, financial data, special selects, which this is very specific in informatics for like online businesses and marketing information. But as we scroll down, you'll notice over here on the right that this box here moves with you. And this is view results, update count, record count, business history, etc. This is useful because you can see this record count information here. We're already at 18 million, and that's a lot. And I don't know about you, but I don't believe I want to go through 18 million records. Not all of them, I bet, will be relevant to the goal of finding a good location for my pie shop. So it's really nice that as we filter things down, we can select this blue option here, update count. And when it's down to a reasonable number, we can actually select view results. So our goal here is not to have it so narrow to where we have no results, but enough to where we are not overwhelmed by the results. Okay, so as we go through, what I typically like to start with is the record type here. Now you can see that verified businesses are already selected. I'm going to add to that unverified businesses just because even though it may not be fully verified, it doesn't mean that they don't exist. And we can narrow that down, but you can see already we went from 18 million to 91 million. So now I really want to filter this down over here. So from there, we're going to start with our business type. And we are going to select our keyword SIC and AICS code. So our SIC code for pie bakers is going to be 5461-04. And we're going to search. And it didn't like it. How dare it? And that's okay, because this happens sometimes. Taking off that dash for specialty, that's where sometimes doing a general search allows you to pull up the correct number. So it actually just didn't want the dash between the 04. So we can select pi that way. Also, if your industry falls under multiple, you can also list multiple here and do a search as well, because sometimes your business will fall under multiple industry codes or have multiple application of industry code. Where you want to be specific, and this is where I highly recommend talking to a score professional or even a CPA, is for business taxes. Okay, so we have that selected for pies, and we're going to go ahead and select update count. And you can see already we went down from a million results down to 1,000. So filters are our friends. But just to see if there's any difference between the SIC code and the NAICS, we're going to plug that one in too. And it is this number here. And we're going to update count. It's the same count. So ideally, your SIC code, your NAICS should pull the same results. It's just two different methods of industry coding. Okay, next let's add in the geography because we're in Texas. So we're going to search that surrounding area. So we are going to select city and state. And we're going to scroll down and you can see that that filter box has now appeared. And from here, we're going to start typing in cities. So we're going to start with Plano. And it's going to pull from across the US. So we've got Plano, McKinney, Allen, a lot of Allens. Frisco, Colony, Richardson, Wiley, Garland. And it really is no limit on how many you can add here. You can add in a whole bunch of cities. Now, where you might run into things is if you can't spell something or if it's a very small town that hasn't registered. Okay, let's start with that. That's a good number of towns. So we're going to update count. So we have already narrowed that down from 1,000 to 10. So depending on the type of industry and business that you're researching, you may find you need to add in more filters than this, or you need less filters. So looking at this right now, we've actually only added in two different types of filters here. Now, with geography, you can just type in city or state. I do want to mention that you can also do zip codes. So if you know that's kind of, the zip codes where you want to operate, but you're not quite sure of where you should. If you just want to make sure that there's not another bakery or business in your direct zip code, you can search by that as well. That filter does look like this, where you enter that code. If you have a bunch, say from post office, you can also just paste it in directly. We're not going to work with that option today, though. So typically, once you have that industry code and geographic area, the results are, again, much more manageable. And from here, you can actually click that lovely green button for view results. And you can view the 10 results that have come up. Now, if you wanted to broaden your search, if we really wanted to look at that metro area, you can also search by metro area. And from here, what is nice is if you don't have time to go through each individual company record, you can select the 10 records here. And you can actually go ahead and download, select your format, You can include all the data and you can either download it for later or email it to yourself. So just really, really nice. But a few other options here when you have more than one result. You do have here the review option. And this is just reviewing your search. So here you have the cities and you have that code. It's just telling you this is what you put in to get this result. Going to details, it's going to take you through each individual record. So we've got 360 pies and you've got page 1 of 10. And you can navigate through each record here. And again, it'll say if it's verified or unverified up here at the top. So this is an unverified record that we're looking at here. And you can see it's a little bit more scant on information so far. There's no management directory, there's no company news. The Bennett business expenditures are a different kind of estimate compared to Pie Emporium. And we don't have any data for the sales volume by year or employee size by year or any of that history. So that's just another thing to note. But you may not have come across this record if you were just Googling it. Okay, we're going to go through a few more of these records and then we're going to work through our last scenario for reference solutions. And then if you want to work through any hypothetical scenario of your own or look at a different kind of search inquiry, please go ahead and type that in the chat and we'll see if we have enough time to help you out with some research. So this is a verified record. And there's Emporium Pies. So we're familiar with that one. Okay, so we are going to go to new search. In fact, actually, we're going to go back out to Data Axle because we want to look at our consumer data. So I mentioned at the beginning of our reference solutions database demonstration that each of these are set up the same way. You've got your quick search and your advanced search. Now, the only difference with looking at US consumers is, again, when you go to advanced search, the filters are the same, but a little different. It's got more, more information for like the automobile, for housing selection, lifestyles, consumer snapshot, which is that demographic information. So I would say in general, if you're using the consumer lifestyles and automobile database, unless you have a specific name, I would not recommend using the quick search function. So in this scenario, we want to research our target market for our pie bakery. So we want to determine the best area, again, for our pie bakery. Maybe we have a rough idea from the previous US business in terms of competition. Now we want to actually see what is the economic landscape like in this area and can it support a new pie bakery. So here to start your search at the top of the page, you have this information here for contacts per household. So you have the option to choose all per household and one per household. In general, I would leave it at all because you never know if there's multiple people there, narrowing it down to one update count. It's not going to pull anything just from that. Um, in general, you're just limiting yourself. So to start, I would complete your general searches, leaving it just at that general all per household. Um, Here, though, we're going to go ahead and um, start with housing selections. So we're not going to be as concerned with the car data. We're going to go down here to housing selections. You can see contacts per household is already selected, and that's fine. But what we're going to select is estimated home income. So when you select that, the filter option pops up here at the top, and you can actually say, I want to know who is making an income of at least 60 and up. Okay. And why does this information matter? Well, if your business wanted to cater more towards luxury goods, then selecting or limiting to a higher income would make sense. Same with goods or services that would cost less. Um, Catering towards a lower income is not a bad thing either, because you're looking into just who is your audience, who are you actually marketing towards. Now, when we have that first filter set, we want to go ahead and narrow it down by geography here. You can start with either. There's really no right or wrong answer here to how you begin your search. Um, I would just like to keep that in mind when you're doing this data analysis here. So city and state, we're going to do the same thing that we did prior. We're just going to add in a bunch of cities. Or if you're like, I'm tired of typing, then we can also try that metro area where we're going to select a state. And here it's going to have us scroll down. You can type Dallas, but we're going to go ahead and select Dallas Fort Worth here. Update count. And that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And we can narrow it down further. So the thing with metro area is if you really are truly marketing to that entire area, this is a great tool to be like, yes, I have either a traveling service that supports this entire area, or no, I'm a brick and mortar. I need to be more specific with my geography. So I just wanted to show that real quick as something different. So city and state, we're going to do the same thing. Type, select. If you select something you didn't mean to, you just have to click it to on the opposite side here to remove it. Richardson, Frisco, Kenny. And we're just going to start smaller this time for the example purpose. Once you have geography in, we're going to go ahead and update that count. The record count has again gone down. From there, we are actually going to scroll down, and under consumer snapshot, we're going to really add in information for who we've determined is our target audience, or we're going to use this information to help us find out more about who we think our target audience should be for our business.
Just a quick
So
interruption, sorry.
yeah, no, you're good.
Had a comment from an attendee. FYI, it is suggested that people in job search use reference solutions to develop a list of target companies. For example, someone might look for IT, telecommunication, financial companies, etc. I've seen a demo using SIC codes, etc.
Absolutely. You can definitely use reference solutions for job search. um, especially for finding out more about companies. And if you are potentially interviewing with a company, definitely reviewing those company page information to make yourself more prepared or to just learn more about, is this a company I want to work for? You can definitely use Reference Solutions for that. There's also a job database within Reference Solutions itself that is linked to all the company pages that are available in Reference Solutions. That's a great point. Thank you for sharing. To continue here with Consumer Snapshot, and we are coming up on time. My apologies. I do want to touch on this real quick. So our target audience data. So we know that we want to target women for a pie bakery. We want to target families and children present. And we are going to add in just again some of this other information such as homeowner, income again. You can duplicate information and it shouldn't affect it too greatly. But here's what's really going to help us. This lifestyle section here is where you get some crossover with the industry code. So here under this section, we're going to try and find the one that aligns with pies. So keep in mind that in some cases this may not work. This is very much an estimated section within Reference Solutions. So we are going to select under this one purchase behavior for gift giver is one, and child and family products. We are going to go up here to cooking and wine. We're going to select general cooking, health diet. I don't think the pie bakery will work for that. So again, it doesn't work for everything, but it is an interesting section to play around with and see if you can't find something within this section that aligns with your industry in some way. Okay, so we're going to update count. This is one case here where you don't want the number to be small. You do want a larger number. And viewing results. It's going to pop up with status summary. You have the option to view a chart, matrix, or table. And you can select from here different filters. Let's just show summary. Okay, it wants me to select. So we're going to select a bunch here. Show summary. While that's loading, I do appreciate everyone for joining us today for this program. If you would like the slides from today's class, please feel free to send me an email requesting it. We do have additional resources for market research at the library. We can share those in the chat. So this table view here that has loaded basically will give you an estimate of just all the folks who kind of fall into that category. Now, if you wanted to revise that search or view results, but view it differently, So let's say you want to view a chart. This again kind of tells you who has that interest and where did they fall. And playing around with this data will give you different results in different ways. Um, there's even a way to pull your consumer emails and use that as a way to market to your audience. So if we remove the lifestyle view results, it's going to be a similar kind of information base. Okay. Is there anything anyone had a question about, anything I can answer before we end today's class?
I don't see any questions in the chat at this moment.
Okay. All right. I'm just kind of showing how doing more or less information can give you different data sets. And again, you do have that option to export to Excel. This is breaking it down by occupation. So that's precisely how many. Revise search. You can also do a map-based search, open map. And if you wanted to narrow it down just to the Dallas area, you can draw. You can draw a shape. You can define a radius. Done. Count. It's pretty much the same. Yeah, if there's no more questions, then I again would really like to thank everyone for attending today's class. And I hope if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Feel free to set up a book librarian appointment. We have a lot of services here at the library to support small businesses. We have our Choose Team Up for Entrepreneurship Success group coming up in January. It is going to be a networking reception. So if you have a business idea or you have a business up and running, or you're looking to grow your business, or you just want to connect with other people who have entrepreneurial experience, then this group is for you. It meets every month except for in December on the fourth Tuesday of the month. And we have our library professionals there for resource information. And we have our SCORE mentors there to answer any business expertise questions. At this networking reception, we will have professionals from other small business organizations and funding resources there who can answer any question you may have about opening a business or growing your business. But as I mentioned, we have a lot of additional resources. We've got access to LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, other databases like Gale, and recordings of other library programs on our YouTube channel. So thank you again so much for attending today. And this is my email, so feel free to email me for the slides or any other questions you may have.
We did have one question in the chat, an ask of how do we sign up for the Tuesday meetings?
Oh, so it's actually not required to sign up. You can actually just show up. Once you do, we do have you fill out a short survey so that SCORE can use that information for their SBA certification. But once you do that, we have your email and we can send you reminders each month for the meeting. If you really do want to pre-register, SCORE does have a registration link through their website, but it is not required to register. It's a great question. Anything else?
Don't see anything, any other questions in the chat. Did have a comment for thank you for presenting the information. It was very insightful. So glad that PPL offers such wonderful resources.
Oh, it's completely our pleasure. We love what we do, and we want to support y'all and our community. Um, so thank you so much for attending and supporting these kinds of programs. If there's nothing else, however, we will be respectful of your time and go ahead and in today's class. Thank y'all again so much for joining us.